but in any case, I guess your chief guest is here. Is your chief guest?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's here.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, ma'am. And I guess you can, the Vice Chancellor is here. You can start the event.
All right, so thank you. So very good morning to one and all present here. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the ICFAI University, Dehradun, to extend a warm welcome to all at the first ever National Asian Parliamentary Debate, JUS LOQUI 1.0, organized by the Youth Parliament wing of our institution. I would like to extend a very hearty welcome to our chief guest for the day, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Naqvi, High Court of Judicature at Allahabad, Professor Dr. Ram Karan Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the ICFAI University, Dehradun, Brigadier Rajiv Sethi sir, Registrar at the ICFAI University, Dehradun, Dr. Monica Carolla ma'am, Assistant Dean at the ICFAI Law School, our high-spirited participants, esteemed faculty, and my dear confidants. The Youth Parliament Society of the ICFAI University, Dehradun has coupled the event with a vision of amalgamating the zest of debating and at the same time embracing and stimulating a healthy spirit of discussion among the participants. Keeping in mind the significance of opinions in the 21st century regarding many socio-political and economic issues, the topics are going to be allotted to the participants as per the ongoing blazing issues in the society at large. The event has been divided into two phases. That is, firstly, the preliminary rounds are to be held today, while the fourth preliminary round, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and finals are to be held during the first half of the next day, followed by the valedictory session. As said by Samuel Butler, it is not he who gains the exact point in a dispute, but he who scores most in a controversy, but he who has won and shown the better temper. With this ideal thought in mind, I would now like to wish all the participating teams a very best. Moving on to commence with the occasion in an auspicious manner, in the name of the Almighty, we now proceed towards the digital lighting of the lamp. Thank you. I would now like to invite Professor Dr. Ram Karan Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor at the ICFAI University, Dehradun, to enlighten the audience about a prestigious institution, the ICFAI University. Over to you, sir.
Sorry. Good morning, you all. I hope I am audible.
You also.
Yeah. So thank you. I'm delighted to be here. The event organized by the ICFAI Law School, National Asian Parliamentary Debate, which is going to be held today and tomorrow. And I'm also happy to notice that there are more than 230 participants has already joined this event. And if I am going to just brief about the ICFAI system for the people who are the participant outside the system, ICFAI system was established in year 1984 as a non-profit organization, and over a period of 10 years, it has evolved as a great business school, and 11 universities spread in Pan-India. And ICFAI University Dehradun is one of them, where we have a very vibrant ICFAI Law School system. And if we look through the system as a whole, so we have 4 schools in ICFAI University Dehradun imparting the degrees at undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD level in the area of applied sciences and engineering, in the area of management, in the area of law and education. I am very proud to be the part of this system, and notice to that ICFAI Law School is doing tremendously good by doing so many events which are important at a national level as well as international level. So this particular school is evolving as a vibrant school, imparting the degrees at undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD level, with so many additional extracurricular activities, which is going to enhance the student knowledge and additional capability to hold the responsibility while they are going to graduate from the system. And I wish all the best to all participants, and I am delighted and happy to be the part of this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. I now call upon Brigadier Rajiv Sethi, sir, Registrar of the ICFI University, Dehradun, to kindly brief the spectators about the ICFI Law School here at Dehradun and about the Youth Parliament Society as the organizing wing for today's event. Over to you, sir.
Thanks. Firstly, I must thank the chief guest, Justice LOQUI, the Vice Chancellor, the organizers, and all of you for being part of this a major event in which you are going to learn something. The holistic development of the students is one of the most important aspects that you have to be exposed to while you're in the ICFI University system. And the Youth Parliamentary Society strives to provide a platform for the students to learn and express themselves in the right fashion while you will be doing practice somewhere in life future. The main objective of the society is to inculcate a spirit wherein you will be in a position to express yourself. You're going to be exposed to the arguments from the other people, and you will be in a position to actually express yourself in the way which is logical and which has got a propensity to express, to kind of and make sure that the others are also able to understand what you are trying to express yourself in. My best wishes to Dr. Abhishek Raj, who's the coordinator or who's the in charge of this event, and all the students who are participating, as well as who are going to be exposed to the system. And I wish you all the very best for the next 2 days to learn and to absorb what you can from this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Moving further to illuminate the gathering regarding the event today, I would like to now summon Dr. Monica Karola, ma'am, Assistant Dean at the ICFI Law School and the Director of this Asian Parliamentary Debate. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're clearly audible.
A warm welcome to everyone today who is a part of this Asian Youth Parliament. I would like to welcome the Vice Chancellor of ICFI University, Dehradun, the Registrar of ICFI University, Dehradun, and also our respected Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Naqvi, High Court of Judicature of Allahabad, and wish to thank him for giving his time and being with us in order to motivate the students to take this event to greater heights. And I'm sure that our students will be motivated by his mere presence to achieve a lot more than what is required in a competition like this. The objective of Youth Parliament is to promote the students to be able to compete in this increasing complex world where there is choice between peace and war, where there is a choice between sustainability and self-destruction. Our leaders and our students who are the future leaders have to make a world for themselves which will be safer for everyone, which will be sustainable, and which will be able to promote, protect the human rights of all people. With this objective, we give the students the opportunity to showcase their talent in putting forth their opinions, the ideas and ideologies which they represent, and to be able to forcefully state what is required and what they want, how the nation should go forward in order to have a system where everyone is assured of being protected and safeguarded by leaders, by nations, and internationally by world bodies. So with this objective, the platform is open to all the participants to be able to compete and take ideas from here. And in the coming years, this competition is bound to become more contested, where we'll have greater competition, and I'm sure that the students will be able to bring out their best ability and they'll be able to contribute to the learning process. This is a peer-to-peer learning process, and the competitions help to encourage students to bring out their best, and they'll be good leaders in the future days because they'll be sensitized to the topics that they debate on, and I'm sure that it will help in generating new cadre of leaders who will be not only having the power to put in strong arguments, but also be sensitized to the different issues relating to the problems of people and the world at large. With these words, I welcome all the participants and wish them good luck, because they are going to make this competition a very healthy, vibrant and dynamic competition, which will bring forth the best in their personality also. And I'm sure they'll go back as winners, all of them, whether they win or whether they participate, all of them will be winners for as such. And on behalf of ICFI University, ICFI Law School, I thank them for being a part of our event, and we promise to you that we will bring forth more events in which they'll be able to showcase their talents. Thank you everyone, and thank you to the chief guest who has been so kind to come to this event. Over to you, Tanya.
Thank you, ma'am. You have rightly said that in a world where there is a conflict between a choice of war and peace, we need to work together and promote peace and sustenance. Thank you, ma'am. Proceeding further, I now call upon Ms. Riya Juneja, ma'am, Assistant Professor at the ICFI University, Dehradun, to say a few words about our chief guest for the day, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj LOQUI, High Court of Judicature at Allahabad. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tanya. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're clearly visible and audible.
All right, thank you. Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj LOQUI, former Judge, Allahabad High Court. He completed his graduation in law from the University of Delhi in 1984 and had enrolled as an advocate in 1985. He dealt with several civil cases at the Allahabad High Court and was elevated as an additional judge on the 21st of November 2011 and took oath as permanent judge on the 6th of August 2013. His 11-year-old tenure as a judge of Allahabad High Court ended on the 21st of August 2021. Sir is of the ardent opinion that the Constitution is our Bible and proudly holds that we can live and die for the Constitution. Owing to his father's ideology on religion, he believes that there is no religion superior to the religion of humanism. And secondly, his belief that a man must always be secular in his approach holds true to his own ideals. He once rightly remarked, "One can neither be a good Hindu nor a good Muslim unless he is a good human being himself." During his tenure as a judge, he has outstandingly delivered umpteen judgments and passed a great deal of orders. His secular nature has been reflected in one of his judgments, where he has correctly noted that right to live with a person of his or her choice, irrespective of religion professed by them, is intrinsic to right to life and personal liberty. Sir, we thank your Lordship for gracing this event with your presence today, and we wholeheartedly extend a warm and graceful welcome to you. I would now request our chief guest to please address the gathering. Over to you, sir. Tanya, please.
Sir, kindly unmute yourself, Your Lordship.
Am I audible?
Yes, Your Lordship, you're clearly audible.
Dr. Ram Karan Singh, the learned Vice Chancellor, Brigadier Rajiv Sethi, the Registrar, Dr. Monica Kharola, Dean Law School, esteemed members of the faculty, and the participants. At the outset, I would like to place on record my sincere thanks and appreciation to the IFSI Law School for extending me this invite, because these moments give me an occasion to share my perception with the ignited minds. So I thank the IFSA for giving me this opportunity. I also congratulate all the participants for one simple reason, that they are now going to be a part of a noble profession. I say noble for the simple reason that very soon, in pursuit of justice, they would be protecting and respecting the interest of their clients. I don't remember any other profession but for medicine where you are accorded the status of a noble profession. So always remember, whether you are inside the campus or outside the campus, you are carrying not only the image of your alma mater, but also of the nobility of the legal profession which is attached to you, so that the members of the general public can form a very good impression about you, about the law school from where you have graduated, as well as from the profession which you are coming from. And this I'm telling you from my experience. Now, before I come to the main aspect, I would like also to state that one fundamental change which I have noticed in this profession in the last 30 years is, and I'm sure that at least the seniors will confirm this fact with me, that I joined this profession by default. I had no one in my family as a lawyer. But today, people from non-lawyers' family are becoming a part of this profession by choice. I remember those days when I used to tell my relatives and friends that, Pankaj, what are you doing after graduation? I said, I'm studying law. And they used to say, all right, we know that you are studying law, but what apart from law? Because in my good old days, if a person was pursuing law, it was supposed that it's a device to retain hostel accommodation and at the same time preparing for civil services and defense services, which used to be a craze in my days. But that concept, that perception has completely changed down the line 30 years. And I can see young ignited minds joining this profession by choice when they have no one, no father or a godfather in this profession. So that was the disability which was attached with me right from day one. Now, when I was extended this invite, it cropped in my mind as to on what subject am I going to speak, because given the time constraints, then I was informed that it would be better if I share my experiences both at the bar and at the bench, so that you people could learn and pick up what I could not at your age. Now, one thing we must remember, that when you are studying law, you are not studying law only to become a lawyer. You never know. Destiny may take you to crack an IAS examination, number one. You could become a mediator, because now these concepts are coming. You could become an arbitrator, you could become a conciliator, you could join a corporate law firm, you could become a legal advisor, and if not any of these, then at least you could become a lawyer. So you have multiple options, and just see to yourself as to for where you would perfectly fit in. Now, coming to my experiences, which I have just concised, my first suggestion to you would be that wherever you go, please try to develop your speaking skills, what we call as oratorical skills. Now, when I say oratorical skills, it does not mean that you have to be an excellent mooter or a debater. No. The purpose of oratory is to put across your thought either to your client or to the judge who is before you, so that both of you are able to understand each other as to what is working in your mind. One thing which I have noticed, both as a lawyer and as a judge, is there are a lot of youngsters who have some sort of hesitation in public speaking. There's some element of shyness. Just forget about it. The moment you are standing before a judge, half the battle is won. And mark my words, any good humane judge will give you all the opportunity to make you feel comfortable as much as you want, because he has also gone through that phase. His child is also going through that phase if he's becoming a lawyer. So he's conscious of this fact. So, and never become a mentioning lawyer or a briefing lawyer. Okay, my lord, kindly pass over this case. My senior is busy. No, nothing doing. Tell your senior, in case you are not able to make it, hand over the brief to me. I will myself argue the case as long as you are not available. Now, this is the spirit which will be appreciated by any humane judge. So the message to the institution is that a sincere endeavor should be made to ensure that all the students get an opportunity to develop their speaking skills. Because normally what I see is that only a select few are chosen. I can understand as far as representing outside the college institutions are concerned, you want to select the best team. But as far as the in-house activity is concerned, every individual student should be motivated to speak. Number two, you can develop good speaking skills only if you have a sound knowledge of law. And when I say law, law means both substantive law as well as procedural law, because ultimately this will give you confidence. Supposing you have to speak on a particular subject in law, unless you are well versed with that topic, you cannot speak. After 5 minutes, you will collapse. So you have to go through, and in case you have any difficulty, you can always consult your seniors. You can consult your senior colleagues or the seniors or the chambers in which you are working, and they will be more than willing to help you, because all of us have learned. And in fact, I still consider myself gathering pebbles at the seashore, because law is a constant dynamic process. Every day you are learning. You cannot say, no, I have acquired complete knowledge. Yes, now I can answer any and every query. No, that will never be the case. And one practice which I adopted was that the day you enter the bar, please try to maintain a personal digest of case law. You can index it either statute-wise or alphabetical-wise, because when we started, we had no options of these softwares. None of these softwares are available. Because I personally feel you don't have a better software than your working mind. Because everything is stored over here, unlimited megabytes. And mark my words, by the time you complete 10, 15, 20 years, it will become a good compendium. And that will always be helpful to you, so that you don't forget. No doubt today there are so many softwares, applications, so on and so forth. But then they have got their own limitation. They have got their own intricacies involved in it. One may not be very comfortable, but there is nothing. Your brain is a supercomputer. Number three, always at least try to motivate your friends or your circle to have some sort of a group discussion activity. take a judgment. Supreme Court every day is giving some judgment or the other. Just pick up one judgment and meet and just motivate 4 or 5 students. Organize a small in-house activity. All right. This judgment runs into 100, 150 pages. It is not possible for all of you to go through that 150 pages. At least one student will be selected. He will go through that judgment and he will discuss the ratio of that judgment with all of you. And then you can give your inputs and critical comments. Well, a similar view has also been taken by this court or in this judgment. Now, this will definitely help and motivate you to develop your speaking skills and give you some sort of a confidence. Number 4, a lawyer, in my opinion, has to be a good marketing professional. Now, you see, you may be an excellent lawyer, but the question is, how do you establish yourself in this competing market? So whenever a client comes to you, you patiently listen to his brief. Never ever give him a definite opinion this way or that way, because nothing is certain. You may lose a best case and win a worst case. And I'm telling you from my experience. So your position has to be slightly ambulatory. Never say to a client that you have got an excellent case and I'll get the relief which you are praying for. No, that can never be the case. Always ensure that there is some sort of a negative opinion is given to the client. The reason being, when a client is coming to a young lawyer, be rest assured, he has already visited 2-3 chambers of senior lawyers. And since the brief could not materialize for some reason or the other, he is now coming to you. So you have to tell him, well, these are the plus points in your case, but there are negative points also in your case. But it would be wise for me not only to apprise you of the negatives of your case, but also the fact that I have got the answer to these negatives of your case also. Then the client will realize, well, I visited 2-3 lawyers and good leading lawyers of the town. Not even one of them told me about the drawbacks of my case. But here is a young lawyer who's telling me openly that there are some drawbacks in your case which may entitle me to a relief. But he or she has assured me that he or she has the answer to those negative aspects also. Now, this is where you gain the confidence of a client. He may engage you, disengage you, that's a different thing, but he will carry a very good opinion about your client. So my humble suggestion to you all is that losing or winning a case is not of much importance. What is important is that you have won the trust and confidence of a client. And if that you have achieved, I'm sure he is going to be your spokesperson in various years. Because normally when you are practicing in the High Court, you come from a particular district. So at least your relationship, your acquaintances, your friend circles, your marketing strategies is only confined to one district. But how does, by the time you put in 5 to 10 years, you have cases arising from all the districts of your state? It is on account of this reason that this client will call up his friend in some other district. No, please consult him. That is one advice which I hope you all will follow. Next, go well prepared when you are going to the court. I used to take an offense, honestly speaking, when youngsters used to come up in the court without even carrying a bare act. And I used to tell them, the client has completely given his trust and confidence on you. And in the last 2 years, we were conducting hearing under the pandemic guidelines where client was not visiting the court. And I personally feel the responsibility was more onerous on the lawyer in such a scenario that at least he should be armed with the bare acts, with the authorities, the case law, and so on and so forth. And when an objection was being raised by the court, the young counsel used to say, kindly adjourn the matter. You can't adjourn the matter just because the counsel is not come with the bare act and the authority. That creates a very bad impression. On the contrary, the counsel, the young counsel, I'm talking about the young counsel, people like you, when they come well armed and well equipped with the bare acts, with the judgments, that conveys the first signal to the judge that here is a case, counsel has come prepared, I should find out some way to grant him or her some relief so that he or she does not go disappointed. Now, I know it is the human element in me which was prompting me to do this. But I am sure at the end of the day, every judge is a human being. This creates a good impression, and definitely the judge will select Mr. X or Miss X, that he or she comes well prepared. And then we used to discuss among our community, well, friend so-and-so appeared in my case, a young lawyer. I was quietly impressed. My brother colleague used to say, well, what was his or her name? And then we used to share the name, so that resultantly, when you were appearing in his or her court, the initial impression which he or she used to form is a good and a positive impression. Connected with this issue is that whenever you are reading a judgment, and I'm talking about those leading classical judgments, always read the judgment in its entirety. Never focus, never go through the head note. Head note may give you some indication, but if you read the entire judgment, it may convey a different perception. And once again, I'm telling you from my experience, there have been many judgments, and mind my words, whenever I have read that judgment, I may have read that judgment 10 times, but every time I read that judgment, I came across a new ratio in that judgment. So you need those eyes, roving eyes, to go through that judgment, to be very particular about reading those judgments. Next is that always you should know your judge before whom you are arguing, whether you are arguing in a civil court or the High Court or the Supreme Court. And why I say so is for the reason, you see, there is a huge lineup of cases before a judge. And it is quite possible that he may be getting the same type of cases. He may have formed a preconceived notion or an opinion. Now, within that opinion or notion, it may not be possible for you to convince the judge to take a contra opinion. So you must be very sure before we accept a brief as to where that brief is going to land, because unless you know your judge, you may have to advise your client, well, this may not be the right judge before whom the matter should go. Let us wait. Let us wait. This is called bench hunting. Bench hunting to this extent is understandable, because after all, you have to work to the interest of your client, and your client is only interested in getting the relief. But once a case is filed and the court becomes hostile, then you cannot run away from the court. Then if you are running away, then it's called bench hunting, and that is deplorable. So therefore, if you have the time, or if you see that the roster is going to change, and probably in the next roster, you may get a more convenient judge where you can convince him to take some sort of opinion in favor of your client, that much is permissible. So the point which I'm trying to make is that after all, judge is also a human being, a lawyer is also a human being. If a judge has been granting interim orders in matters of demolition, and yours is also a demolition matter, file your case and immediately argue it, you will get the order. But if he is averse to if he is averse to passing any interim order or a stay against demolition, then just hold back your case and tell their client this may not be the right period, right time for you to file the case. Because ultimately, it is the interest of your client which you have to protect. Always remember that in the pursuit of justice, try to become a good lawyer and not a successful lawyer. If you remember this worldly advice, I'm sure once you become a good lawyer, success will automatically follow. A good lawyer means a patient lawyer, a hardworking taskmaster, a sincere lawyer, never conceal a statement of fact before the court, because that, once an image is lost, I'm sorry, you cannot resurrect a good image, because at the end of the day, you are an officer of the court. You are accountable more to the court, less to your client. If client reposes any statement, just conceal this statement, don't tell, no, say, no, I will not do it. Because ultimately it is your reputation which will be targeted. Because I see a lot of youngsters filing second bail application, third bail application, fourth bail application, concealing the fact that they've already filed another bail application that has been rejected. Now that creates a very bad opinion. And at the times, the courts are very harsh and severe in imposing exemplary costs. So always avoid that route. So that's all. These are my few pieces of advice which I could share with this August gathering. I wish you all the very best to all the participants. And I thank the ISFA for giving me this opportunity to share my views. The list could be unending. Always remember that there are no shortcuts to law. There are no shortcuts to law. Try to understand the concept. You can't memorize each and everything. So on this note, I would like to take leave. And once again, thanking the ISFA for giving me this opportunity and wishing all the best to the young ignited participants. And I'm sure that this parliamentary debate is going to be an excellent session. And at the end of the day, all of you will come out quite enriched. Wish you all the best. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful and enlightening speech. You have very rightly described the profession of advocacy as a noble one. We are indebted to you for guiding us through the qualities that a good lawyer is supposed to carry in every step of his way. Thank you, Your Lordship. Moving further, on behalf of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Ram Karan Singh, and Registrar Brigadier Rajiv Sethi, sir, I would like to felicitate and extend my heartfelt gratitude towards the esteemed chief guest present here today. Moving on to bring the inaugural session to a graceful end, I now request Dr. Abhishek Raj, sir, Assistant Professor at the LOQUI University, Dehradun, and the organizing secretary of this National Asian Parliamentary Debate 2022 to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir. Is Sir Abhishek present in the meeting?
Okay, I think
there must have been a technical glitch, I think.
Yeah, since he's doesn't seem to be able to get through, so I on his behalf would like to express my thanks to all of you here, and especially the chief guest for taking time. He really gave you some great amount of tips and exact on because he has had the vast experience of dealing with these cases. So we thank him. And I guess once Abhishek Raj joins, he will be able to address you all. But thanks a lot for all of you to be participating in all this, and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now we have come to the end of the inaugural session of the National Asian Parliamentary Debate. I would once again like to thank His Lordship, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Naqvi, for his kind words and gracing the event with his presence today. It was a pleasure to conduct the inaugural session with you here. We look forward to having you with us in our future events as well. Our esteemed guests may now discontinue with the session, and I request all the participants to kindly continue with the meeting